Hello, Namaste, Hare Krishna. So today we're looking at integrating yoga into our daily routine so we can have better and better health, or at least maintain our health. So yoga's quite well known these days and popular, and many people have some yoga incorporated in their life somewhere or other. But of course, usually if you mention the word yoga, people think about exercises. But actually there's a lot more to yoga than exercises. So we'd like to explain a little bit about the big picture of yoga. So yoga was developed eons ago by a great sage named Patanjali. And there was 8 parts or limbs to that yoga system that he developed, which is in Sanskrit is called Astanga yoga. Asta means 8 and Anga means limbs or parts. So what is popular today is just mainly one part and a little bit of a second part. So the one main part that's popular is the asana, which means the postures, the bodily postures, the exercises. And a part that's a little bit done is pranayama, which means the breathing exercises. However, there's 6 other parts that hardly is even known about or practiced. Only a few people may do some of the other ones. And so it starts off actually with yama and niyama. So that's like there are do's and don'ts. If you want to be a yogi, there are some things you should do and some things you shouldn't do. And then the asana, the exercises, the pranayama, the breathing. Then it's known as pratyahara, withdrawing the senses. So now the senses are going outside, but we want to bring the senses and go inside. And then there is dharana, which means contemplation, dhyana, meditation, and samadhi, complete trance. So actually the ultimate objective of yoga is to connect. Actually the meaning of the word yoga is a Sanskrit word. It means to connect or link. Just like the English word yoke, like if you have a horse and carriage or with the trains, there's a yoke that connects them, so to connect, to link. So what's link? Link means 2 things, right? Connect 2 things. So what 2 things are getting connected? It's actually us, the individual soul, the Atma in Sanskrit, Atma, the soul, individual self, with the supreme self, with the supreme being. That's actually the purpose, fundamental purpose of yoga, is to connect the individual soul, ourself, with the Supreme Soul. And there's different ways of doing that, but this is one yoga system to help achieve that connection. And the 8th part, samadhi, is a trance-like state where you're completely absorbed, your consciousness is completely absorbed in the Supreme. And all these previous parts are helping us to get closer and closer to that ultimate goal, that ultimate objective. Unfortunately, that objective is not there in modern day yoga. It's usually just to do exercises so you can be healthier or look better, to attract the opposite sex and so forth. You know, so many different reasons here to get rid of diseases or whatever. And actually yoga is good for the health and helps remove diseases, but actually there's a lot more benefits that are there. We will just deal with today about those exercises. But it's just good to know the big picture, see the background there. See why the yogis would do the exercises was so they could sit in one place for a long time. Why would they want to sit on one place for a long time? They'd be flexible to be able to sit in one place. Now, 5 minutes we fidget around and we have to move. We don't have that flexibility. But they would want to sit in one place for a long time. Why? So then they could focus their breathing, concentrate on their breathing, control the breathing. So why would they want to control the breathing? Okay, you want to sit in one place so you can control the breathing, but why do you want to do that? The purpose of that was that they understood in this yoga system that the breathing influences the mind. So if you learn to control your breathing, you can actually come to the point where you can control your mind. Why do you want to control your mind? Because your mind has gone everywhere outside, you know, and contemplating so many things through our eyes, through our ears, through our smell. You know, we are constantly reaching outwards, and the mind is reaching outwards through the senses. And we're getting absorbed in lust and greed and anger and envy and pride and so many things. And that way our whole life is all external and trying to find happiness from outside. And often we don't find that outside. It's all temporary things, and often it leads to suffering. So in the yoga system, they want to withdraw from the mind from all externally and bring it more internally. So that was just, and then ultimately concentrate on the supreme, all-attractive being within our hearts. So that was the perfection of yoga, to reach that intimate relationship with the supreme in ourself, with inside of ourself, the supreme is there, and to connect in that way, and develop that loving connection with the supreme. So anyway, that's a little bit of background there. And having said all of that, yeah, the exercises are very good for the health, and so we want to show you to do that. And before doing the postures, the asanas, we'll do some pranayama, some breathing. So my wife is a qualified yoga teacher, not me, but I have dabbled in yoga for many, many years, and for the last 1 year, since we did a Panchakarma Ayurveda health retreat in South India, Kerala, since the last 1 year, I've been doing it every day for about half an hour. So what we'd like to show you is a really simple, condensed pranayama breathing and yoga program that you could, it's simple enough that you could incorporate in your daily life without taking too much time. Because if you go to a yoga session, probably it's like an hour and a half, pay some money, do an hour and a half yoga, but you know, we can't afford to do that every day, and also we might not have that time every day. But yeah, half an hour is not bad, you know, and if it really helps our health, and I've found a lot of health benefits, and that's why I've continued it, and I haven't stopped for a year, because I'm finding so much benefit. And half an hour, you know, I can spare that, so maybe it can help some of you also. So my wife will explain some things. I'll mainly be doing the movements in that, and she can talk a little bit. And I just want to say that I'm not going to do my full routine because it's going to go beyond the time. So if I would normally do one posture 3 times for the length of my breath, or say 10 seconds or so, hold my breath for 10 seconds and do it 3 times, I'm only going to do it once. I'm only going to do it once and not for the full length of the breath. Just to show you, and then so we're going to offload a lot of postures in that to you very quickly, but you can go back into this video later on and just see what we're doing to remind you, and then do it for the full length, you know, hold your breath and do each side, you know, 3 times like that, but we're just going to show you once. And at the beginning, what's very nice to create a more spiritual atmosphere is to vibrate the sacred sound Om 3 times. So it's optional, but it creates a very wonderful atmosphere, spiritual atmosphere. So we can fold our palms. So I'll hand it over to Jayanti, and we'll start with the pranayama.
So the first one is Nadi Shodhan. So this is a cleansing pranayama. So you keep your index finger on in between your eyebrows, and closing your right nostril, you breathe in through the left for a count of 4, and then hold your breath for 16 counts. And then you release from the right nostril for a count of 8. So basically, it's like breathing in 4 times, holding for 16, and breathing out 8 for a count of 8. And then you breathe in through your right nostril, and again hold your breath for a count of 16. And breathe out from your left nostril for a count of 8. So alternate nostril breathing. And this is very good to clear out the toxins that we have in our subtle energy channels within our body. Plus also it really is very good to calm the mind, relieve stress, anxiety, and just, giving a very calm persona. So we move on to the next one.
And 6 times.
Oh yeah,
So
and you repeat
we do
this.
that cycle.
Yeah.
Right through until we're going back through the left nostril. Do that 6 times.
So you start on the left nostril.
And remember, the index finger is between the eyebrows.
Yeah. And you close the nostril with your fingers and thumb. Okay. So the next one is bellows breath, or Basrika. So in this, you breathe in sharply, forcefully, and you breathe out forcefully.
So both inwards breath and outwards breath is both forceful, and you can just do that, or you can increase that with also the benefits by using your arms as well. So I'll do it with some arm movements as well.
So you don't need to make very intense face movements.
I'm doing it so you can hear me.
But this also energizes the body and mind, and it removes impurities. We are trying to maximize the lung capacity doing this. And
you can do up and down with the arms too.
So as you breathe in, you lift your arms, breathe out, bring your arms down. It's not recommended to do this if you're pregnant or you have high blood pressure or even heart problems. And
so that's 20 times is one circuit, 20 times. So you could do 20 times, or if you want more, 40 times, like that.
It's better to do all this when you have an empty stomach as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we're having this in our daily routine before we have breakfast. Otherwise, you could do this yoga routine like before lunch, or if you're having dinner, before dinner, or at least a few hours after you eat.
The best time is really early morning.
That's ideal. Yeah.
So the last one, not the last one. The next one is Kapalbhati, or skull shining. So if you do this, you'll have very shiny skulls. So in this, you're just you start with just normal breath, but you keep releasing your breath forcefully.
So the inhalation is passive and the exhalation is forceful. And what you should notice is your stomach should go in when you breathe out. So if you want, you can keep your hand on your stomach just to help you get started, and then you'll know what's happening anyway. And do this 60 times. I won't do it all 60, but I'll just show you.
So this is very good for increasing metabolism, and it helps relieve chronic constipation. It clears the mucus from the body, and brings about clarity and alertness in your thoughts, in your mind. And once again, it's recommended not to do this if you're pregnant or if you have recent surgeries, stomach ulcers, etc. So the last one is the humming bee breath.
This is my favorite one. It's good for the brain. It feels really good.
And it frees from anxiety. So in this, what you do is you cover your eyes, not too hard, but just gently covering your eyes with your middle finger and your ring finger, and then keeping your index finger just above your eyebrows and closing your ears.
There's a little flap. If you ever wonder what this flap's for on the ear, that flap is for you can plug your ear. So with your thumb, you just push the flap and you block your ear. That's what the flap's for.
So in this, you take a deep breath in, and when you release, you actually release from your throat and make a humming sound. So you feel a tension in your throat and you release it from there, making a humming sound. And this you can hear it inside your skull. You can hear it inside your skull. So you can test it by removing your thumbs from your ears and see the difference once again when you close your ears, how it sounds inside. And that whole sound actually rejuvenates your brains and your skull. So this is what shining the skull is all about. So it soothes the nerves around the brain and the forehead, and it frees from anxiety, agitation, anger, and gives relief if feeling hot or you have a slight headache. So it's very good. So it decreases blood pressure, and you can do this again 6 times.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the yoga exercises. So like I said, I'm only going to do each one once, each side once, if it's a side. And you can do it a few times or even more if you want at home. And I won't be holding, for the full 10 seconds or whatever. I'm just giving you an idea. Okay, so the first ones, we lie on our back. Can you see me?
I'm just going to move back. So you lie down on your back and lift your right leg up as you inhale in, and hold your breath for 10 seconds and hold that pose. And then release, exhale, release, and repeat on the other side. So as you inhale, you lift your left leg up, hold for 10 seconds, and on exhalation you release. So you repeat that for 3 times on each side. And then the next one is bringing your hands in Namaste pose just in front of your chest, and then lifting off the ground. Now in this, you have to really strengthen your core. It may not always be possible. So just see how far you can go, and with practice, you will be able to lift up. So this is mainly to strengthen the core muscles, and it improves digestion. The next one is Ardha Pavan Muktasana, so half wind relieving pose. So as you inhale, you bring your nose to your knee and hold your knee over your chest. And this again improves digestion, and balances the wind in your body. So if you have too much excess gas, it may come out. So, and you repeat that on the other side. And then the next one is Pavan Muktasana. So this is the same pose, but you're doing both legs at the same time. And you hold for 10 seconds. And as you exhale, you release from this pose.
This one is very good to help you go toilet. Spinal twist.
In this, if you want, you can bring your arms to be parallel with your body. So, sorry, not parallel, but perpendicular to your body.
And this is a good one too. This roly-poly one.
Yeah. And this one just massages your spine. So just rolling side to side is very good for after doing a spinal twist. This is a good pose to actually massage your spine.
Yeah, roll over.
Okay, so now to do some back related exercises. So Ardha Shalavasana, it's a half locust. So you, as you breathe in, you lift your right leg up and exhale, bring it down. And similarly on the other side. This is good to stretch out your back muscles, your leg muscles, the hamstrings. The next one's Cobra, Bhujangasana. It increases the mobility of the spine and helps relieve back pain.
Just do all the movements slowly.
Yeah. And yeah. So one thing with yoga asanas or postures is be very careful how you do them and just go listen to your body. Do only as much as your body allows you to. Over time, you'll be able to do better and better. But don't force yourself into any particular pose. Bow pose. So as you breathe in, you lift up your chest
your
and
ankles.
yeah,
You hold your ankles with your hands.
yeah, holding your ankles with your hands. And you release. This is good for strengthening the back and also relieves constipation. And then from here, moving into child's pose. So this position is called Vajrasana or Thunderbolt pose. And this is actually also a very good pose to sit in once you've had a meal. So you can sit in this pose for about 5-10 minutes and it aids digestion. But it is also a good pose to generally just relax. And getting into child's pose. So you stretch your arms out in front of you and you can keep breathing in this one. And as you inhale, you extend your spine. And as you exhale, try and get your butt to sit on your heels and stretch out as much as possible. It's very relaxing and calming pose.
This one you can do also for a few minutes if you want. A longer period of time.
Actually, whenever you feel stressed out, you're welcome to come and do this pose and it will relax you.
This one's had the two options with your feet up and down.
Yeah. So in this, you're doing a back bend. So you can hold your, in this you have to hold your heels and there are two options. So in this, you got your, just your toes on the mat. The other option is you could have your entire feet on the mat and hold your heels. But for this, it will take some practice. So if you're new to this, don't go and do this particular pose until you're practiced with just your toes on the mat. Yeah. And this is a nice favorite, the cat and cow pose. So this pose is very useful to just stretch the spine and relieve backache and generally calm the mind. Downward facing dog. Once again, a great pose to just relax. It strengthens the shoulders, strengthens the arms, and relieves any kind of tension in the body. A nice forward stretch.
If you can't hold your toes, you just put your hands on the
In
ground.
these forward bend kind of poses, just be aware that you have your back straight and not rounding up. So if you can't reach your toes, that's perfectly fine. The main thing is that you're getting a nice stretch and you're able to stretch your hamstrings, the back, and get some flexibility. And with practice, you'll be able to touch your toes. So this is the reverse plank pose. Once again, very good for strengthening the core, lifting up the back, and just a counter pose for all that forward stretching. So this is seated, half seated forward fold. And I'm just going to move. Oh yeah. So this again is very good. In this particular one, you've just got your right foot extended in front of you with the left.
If you can't hold your feet, doesn't matter. Start wherever you are.
Yeah.
A year ago, I was about here. A year ago. And then slowly, and go further. And then the other leg.
Yeah, so bring one leg forward in front of you and the other leg is folded and the foot is touching the inner thigh. And breathe in and stretch out. And as you're releasing, when you breathe out, you lift off from the pose.
When our teacher did this one in South India, his head touched his knees, so we're hoping eventually we can achieve that. Let's start wherever you can. This one you can relax your legs first, give it a shake, and then also give your spine a jiggle.
Yeah, bring your feet together. And your knees also are slightly together. In the beginning, you can even have your knees slightly bent. It's better not to hyperextend and hurt yourself. So you can bend your knees and try and touch your feet. Or else, the main thing is making sure that your back remains straight. And the butterfly pose. So this is very good to relieve any stress from your inner thighs and calming for your mind.
the feet are like this, you can explain.
So this is going into a standing forward fold. And here you can see the feet, the heels are together and there's a gap between the toes. And as you inhale, stretching out, and then exhale, falling forward from your hips. And you can try to touch your toes. And your neck just hangs loose. So very good for lengthening the spine, stretching the hamstrings, your thighs. And just doing a stretch on the other side.
Breathing in and out.
And continue breathing.
And we go. That's sideways one now. So this is a sideways bend. Front foot is straight, the back foot is sideways. Then come up. Come back to your side of the mat, arms down. Then we'll do the other side. And this is the last one we do.
And that's the tree pose.
So this is the one to develop your balance. So just slowly.
So you can place your feet either in your inner thigh or else below your knee or just against your ankle, but not on your knee.
Other side.
This is good for concentration. And as Abhay already said, for balance.
Then Shavasana.
And finally, the best pose. Even though we think it's the best pose, this is Shavasana or the corpse pose, but this is very necessary after a yoga practice where you can gain the benefits of your yoga session. So this is, in this, you're basically lying down completely on the floor. If you want, you can place a cushion under your knees just to give you some support for the back, especially if you have back problems. And in this, you basically start relaxing every part of your body one after the other, starting with your toes. And you just shake your toes out and then just let it relax. And then you move up into your knees, letting your knees relax, your thighs relax. Then coming up to your hips, you allow your hips to relax. And then moving upwards, you find your belly is all relaxed, your hands are relaxed. You can wriggle your fingers just to let go of any tension you might be holding in there. And relax your chest, your shoulders. And moving up, your neck is very relaxed. And if it feels good, you can just move your head to one side if it's comfortable, wherever it falls freely. And you lay still. And then if there are any thoughts coming in your head, you just look at them and you let them go. Of course, you're keeping your eyes closed, and you can just look at your thoughts with your mind's eye. But just let all your thoughts go and gradually just be in a very relaxed state of mind, going into a state of calm, trying to gain inner peace, and staying there for a few moments. And when you're ready, you don't jump out of
Normally we do it longer
You-
than that, but
and you don't jump out of that pose
we
like
gotta
Abhay
stick
did.
to our time.
But generally, you once again, you bring your awareness back into where you're lying down, and you come back slowly. You wake up slowly from the corpse pose.
And I just wanted to show you this one. This is Padmasana. You might not be able to do this straight away, that's okay. But this is really good also for the health. This is a brilliant position to, if you're sitting down on the ground, to sit like this. If you're eating, we're going to talk about eating in a couple of days. So this is the best position to be eating, sitting on the ground like this. Rather than sitting in a chair or standing up. That's really bad for the health, but we're talking about that. But this is the good position. If you can't do it both legs up, then this is the Ardha, the half lotus. Just have one foot up, either foot up. And then also you could just have both.
Sukhasana,
Sukhasana,
yeah.
like that. So there's a few different options there depending on your flexibility.
And one thing I'd like to mention is during this practice, at any time, if you feel you need more support, you can keep a pillow or a cushion under your, when you're sitting down and doing your exercises, because that's going to help you, especially if you're not used to sitting on the floor.
So thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, let us know. I'd be happy to hear how you get on.
And you can end your practice again by chanting Om 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, take care everyone.
Okay,
All the
bye.
best.